Good morning. All right, looks like we got some stuff we can cover here. Get this going. What a crazy I don't know how many of you were on that stream last night, but man, like what weird PA, right? It was really nice right at the end there, man. It just like popped right up. I looked down or I was doing something like I looked down at my phone or I was checking something and then I looked up and all of a sudden I was like, "Oh shit, our trades are closed." Sweet. That was good. Oh, here we go. Know how it is. Get that house music going for the morning. All right. Let's see what we got. ADA and AVAX. All right, cool. Absolutely. Oh, Deems, bro. Dude, yeah, when you yeah. Yes, I was thinking of you the moment that happened. Yeah, here's the deal. That has happened to me a shit ton of times where I've been like, yeah, I'm just done. I'm going to close my trade and then I'll open it up and like, sure shit. Um it runs straight to the zone. I've been there. I get it. It's but hey, here's the deal. Like the thing is that it's more important to follow your best practice because like just because this one time didn't work out, that doesn't mean that you made the wrong choice. Because, more often than not, doing what you did works out better than not. Right? I like for me personally, all of those nights that I've went to bed holding a position overnight, like, oh, I hope I wake up in profits. More often than not, I would wake up stopped out, or like I would just barely miss my take profit, or it would have been good for me to have been there to monitor it. Is my point. And so, oftentimes, like you have to pat yourself on the back for following your plan and following your procedures, even if it didn't work out how you wanted it to. So like there have been times where I'll close a trade because something is telling me I shouldn't be in it, and then it'll run to target. And I'll think to myself, "Oh, I'm not upset about that because I followed my procedure. I followed my plan. I followed my discipline, like I did what was right." The times that I'm more upset are like if I oversize or I get emotional over a trade or I do something that's not according to plan. Even if it works out, I'm disappointed in myself for deviating from my procedures. Right? So give yourself a pat on the back for that, even still yet, because more often than not, it was just like that one fucking time. It was just that one time, man, that like it didn't play for you. But yeah, I was thinking about you the moment that hit. I was like, oh, Deems is gonna be like, fuck. All right, so let's start taking a look at some stuff here. Um, so BTC, you know, we're at a really interesting place with BTC. And as I was talking about earlier in the week was sort of this ABC formation, which is now not the case. Let me see, ABC, 1, 2. We can look for maybe a 3, 4, 5 down potentially. For me, I was looking for that move to the upside. We did get a small sweep here. We're now overlapping on that, what I thought was going to be a wave 1. So it's tough to say. We'll see what happens here. We're going to have unemployment rate released here in about 18 minutes. So I'm sure that will, trigger some kind of a move, or we'll see something happen here. Being that it's Friday, I'm not going to get too crazy into things. I don't think I'm going to take a setup here. Instead, we'll go ahead and do our altcoin request. Usually I would, on most mornings for these streams, I would normally right now start to look for trade setups and look to get into something. In fact, I see a potential one right here. But we will stay the course. Being that it's Friday, I don't need to be hopping into trades outside of doing maybe a day trade or something. But yeah, so like my two potential things, just really briefly before we hop into our alts. You know, we were rejected from this initial area of resistance here. We caught a nice short down on that. I was looking to long this zone initially here. I did get stopped out just barely on this deviation here. And I haven't re-entered a trade. It's the end of the week. I'm totally fine. We've had a great trading week. But the thing that I've emphasized is that what I would love to see happen is something like this. And of course, this plan is now taking a lot longer than I expected it to. But the fact remains the same is that, you know, essentially looking for a move in here, a move down in here, and then a move up in here before then getting a move down into this zone right here. So I still think that this is on the table. Otherwise, you know, I actually don't think we'll go that low. The point is I would look to take out these lows here. So get a move down into this section in here, sort of deviate these levels, and then get that move to the upside. So that's still, you know, kind of the plan that I'm looking at for BTC. And obviously the only thing that would kind of take that away is if we did get sort of that move down back into this zone, because then obviously sort of that target would be taken from us in this case. So we'll see which is which. These are essentially my two key zones, down under here, and then of course up in here, where are my two areas that I'm interested to trade next. And there's some things that we can look at on a daily. And again, I don't want to get too involved on BTC right now, being that, you know, I'd like to cover some alts. But, you know, we have an inside day candle here. We had an inside day of that inside day. This one, you know, barely took out the low, hasn't taken out the high. So, I mean, really, at the end of the day, there's not a whole lot going on, you know, outside of this small area here. And what you want to watch for is either price to break above and get a close above to signal possible continuation up, or a close below to signal possible continuation down, and then watch for, you know, either a deviation on either end. You know, for me, that's really, at the end of the day, that's sort of all that I got, or what I see here on BTC. So keeping that in mind, moving on to alts, my theory on alts right now are going to be that BTC continues to range, maybe gets some kind of a move, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. But then I do think that alts are going to see some kind of a relief rally against BTC. So we'll go ahead and dive right in. I just want to be sure there wasn't anything else right away. We'll go ahead and hop on to ADA. All right, let's see. I know I got that cooking somewhere here. Let's see. We're going to try to fly through these. I should go through and organize this. Well, it was somewhere. I don't know where it was, but here it is now. Okay, so this was a zone that I had drawn out. We can see that we bounced from that. This was a while ago. So how about I go in and we'll just delete all this stuff? Oh, wow. I really did not do a deep dive into that. I'm going to delete everything. I'm just going to delete it all, and we're going to start from scratch. Okay. So excited for that indicator to be done, so I don't have to do this every single time I pull up a new chart for this. I'm really tempted to go over to BTC and try to cop that. Intraday trade. I just keep thinking about the unemployment rate that's about to come out and how it may induce some volatility. And get us that little bit of a move. Let me actually just go like this. Yeah. Hang on a second. Yeah. Mm. I'm gonna set limits for this. And then I'm gonna walk away and focus back up on alts. I just think that we, I don't know, unemployment might just pop down there real quick on unemployment and give us like a nice pop or something. Oh, my chat messages disappeared. Shit. I don't know how all this works, so it's kind of tough. All right. That's really weird that it doesn't show chat history. I think I'd have that feature. Let me see. Maybe it's on this. It's not. All good. All good. Okay, cool. I have limits set for this here. I'm gonna go back to ADA and continue our regularly scheduled programming. Man, I had this coffee, my usual coffee shop today. I like went over there and I got a latte. I never get lattes. And man, it was so good. I like chugged it. And I'm starting to feel the effects of that actually. Austin, I'll be curious to see how we align on this. Fucking whole thing just got... Wow, what a candle. Unbelievable. Honestly, being that this is here, I wouldn't be surprised if it dropped down to the 618. Let me pop the 0.5 back on though. And just hide this quick. Well, yeah, I'm gonna hide this quick. I want a clean slate here. So we have a last low pre-break here. D1. Other than that, I really don't see a whole lot in terms of support. You could argue here. You could argue this level. So like this. Yeah, that's going to be a really key area of resistance right here. So is this. In fact, that might be the only level I keep there. You know, I'm just gonna tell you, like, for me personally, when you have these really big wicks like this, and you have this kind of, you know, we had this move down, right? Another big wick here. This could be a potential ABC, right? In fact, let's check the targets on that and see how those look in general, if that is the case. Yeah, you know, to the 1, 2, 3, 6, around the 1 and the 1, 2, 3, 6. It's not bad, you know, it's fine. Yeah, this is the weekly order block that we rejected from right here. Yeah, and I mean, really, this is where we bounce from, right? You know, previous area of support here. See, it's kind of a key SR zone all the way across. Resistance here. So here's what I'm going to tell you is that this weekly open level right now, it's a lot more important than it looks. Just right off the cuff. Take a look at this level here. Support, breakdown, back test, flip, bounce, move down. This is a deviation, so as long as we're below this level, we do not want to see a close below this level, this green line here. We really want to close above that. We did get a nice bounce off of what was previously resistance. We had a breakdown here. Broke through, back tested that zone. So that's all fine. But this weekly open, previous week low zone is actually pretty crucial to reclaim. So let's drop down to a daily time frame here. You know, again, you son of a bitch. Oh, I just looked at BTC. That fucker. Look at this shit. Oh, maybe it'll come back. You son of a gun. You could have just popped down a little bit lower there and filled me before you started doing any running around. Let's see what happened with that data. So lower than expected. Son of a gun. I'm gonna leave it for now. I don't know. There might be like one more wick or something stupid might happen, so we'll see. I'm not really keen on how this looks so far, so we'll see what happens. I would have preferred the move down and then a pop back up. Yeah, so I've been filled on this. We'll get back to ADA and we'll check on this. I'm currently long BTC here. We'll see how that plays out. All right, so yeah, in my opinion, I think this 0.777 zone is a lot more crucial than I think initially meets the eye. So I'm gonna go ahead and hide this stuff here. I'm gonna hide this as well. And here are my thoughts on ADA. I think that there's potential for, you know, ADA to make some kind of a move up. It's currently in obviously a downtrend here. massive buying, stepped into this zone, and managed to hold this green area on a daily time frame. Of course, now we're seeing some closures below that level. Now, typically with these wicks like this, I'm not a huge fan of like this price action. And for me personally, I like to let things develop a little bit more to get a basis of like what I should expect. However, I do believe that this zone here is going to end up being a nice area for support in the event that ADA does get continuation to the downside. This is where I would look for support if the wick low is going to hold. This is where I would look for support, and you can essentially, you know, in my opinion, target this first area of resistance here, and then especially up to the monthly open. From there, obviously, you have to one by one reclaim levels. This is the key order block resistance up here on a weekly time frame. And what we're going to look for would be a small wick fill down to about the 618 or the 0.5. You can either do this swing setup or look for a local setup here. And then the really important thing is going to be to reclaim this green line. I can't express this enough. This to me is like, so as long as we're below this line, we could, on a higher time frame, consider this a deviation. And so it's important for price to kind of get that move down, boom, into here, reclaim that level, and then start to target some higher zones here and see if we do get that continuation to the upside, taking it then level by level. So we'll go ahead and hop now over to, it was ADA and Austin. What was the other one that you requested? Ooh, that fill's looking good. Stop loss held. See if we get that move to target. That'd be sick. Wow, I'm up pretty good on this trade so far. Fucking sweet if that hit right now. Really great way to end the week, as if yesterday wasn't good enough. AVAX. All right, we'll do AVAX, then we'll take a look at ENA. Yeah, Austin, I'll be curious to see how this sort of aligns with what your thoughts are, but you know, on a higher time frame, this is generally what I'm thinking. I don't think that this looks like great by any means, and this to me doesn't look like it's done doing what it wants to do. This is kind of where I would be looking for, you know, that continuation to the upside. This is a massive wick, man. I don't like PA like this. I think this is like really dodgy stuff here. So, all right, let's hop over to AVAX. I don't know that I've covered AVAX for quite some time. I'm gonna have to get rid of a lot of stuff. I do not want to get rid of this channel though. The one thing I never delete are channels. I didn't even take a look at Monday range on. We're gonna fucking get this trade, aren't we? Low key live on stream here on X. This is the freebie too. Normally I wouldn't do live trading for the freebie, eh? Casual 3R. Come on, baby. Alright, let's take a look at AVAX here. I want to look at it on a daily time frame right quick. Oh, Lord. Huh. Um, Okay, let's go ahead and pull these up here. We'll start knocking out some stuff. Obviously, wow, I haven't updated this since, holy shit, a long time. How long it's been since I've traded AVAX? Monthly open, previous month high, up onto a weekly. Hmm. Hmm. BTC is about to hit target. In this casual 3-hour trade setup. Cool. Thanks for playing. There you have it. Made up for yesterday, bro. Because yeah, sorry, Deems. I forgot that you closed before we made profits on that last. Yeah, good. Well, I'm glad it worked out then. Yeah, this is crazy, man. All right, I have to get back to AVAX here. All right. Yeah, I just really don't like this wick shit, man. I would really prefer to see all of this resolved first before I really get interested into things. You know, and of course we could drop down to lower time frames and go from there, but so yeah, look at this one. So AVAX is nicely at the 0.5, so that's cool. Let's see what we have for, I mean, this is pretty much resistance here for now. You know, and for me, you know, kind of this area here is like the key SR flip zone. I mean, you could argue like this is the decision making zone right here. You know, essentially this area here is like the decision making zone, and you can see like above that level, right? Like above this level, it held a support, attempting to hold into here, failed and broke down. So when price eventually visits back in here, it's going to have to flip this area to support if it's going to have any continuation to the upside. Otherwise, again, you know, you would expect a rejection and probably price action to drop lower. So this is a really key zone here. I generally don't like having such a massive zone drawn out, but that's kind of, I mean, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's what I would be looking at, without a doubt. We are bouncing from the 0.5, so that is very cool. I do like to see that. Let's pop on. I just want to take a look. So Monday range is down here. Yeah, okay. So I mean, just flat out, I don't see anywhere to bounce. Personally, for me, if this low gets taken out, I don't think that, I think your next area of support, I mean, yeah, I really don't see any reason why it wouldn't go down to between $14 and $12. If we lose this zone, I really, for me, I don't see any good support until about $12 to $14. It's bouncing from the 0.5 fib up this wick. That's something that I generally like to see. So I think that is, I think that that's a good sign. As far as the daily time frame goes, again, I can't emphasize this enough. If this is lost, I do believe that we get to move down into, you know, kind of this area here. If we can continue to hold, and I think the 0.5 is a nice zone here, we do have this fair value gap above this level, which is also the Monday high, right? So we get above the Monday range, you know, we can look for price to get a move into here. And again, this for me is going to be the telltale sign. I think that price will eventually come into this zone, and this is going to tell you every single thing that you need to know about what's going to happen next. If price can get above here and hold the zone, we can expect continuation down. If it fails to and flips this area into resistance, confirms it as resistance again, we're either going to range in here for a period of time, or we are going to get this move down below this low as expected. And so on a day, as far as the daily time frame goes, that's for me what I'm going to be seeing on AVAX. Not a whole lot for me personally. You know, maybe other people could look at this and then maybe they can pull some support out of here. But for me personally, I don't see anything going on below this level, and it's pretty important for AVAX to, if it wants to have continuation or not go any lower, it's going to have to start reclaiming some levels and eventually tackle this really key zone of resistance right here. So that's what I'm seeing on AVAX. And of course, we could drop down to a lower time frame and kind of take a look at what we have going on there. In fact, we have fucking looks exactly the same as on higher time frames. Right here, this could be a deviation, or it can reclaim the zone and have a move to the upside. I mean, it's exactly the same as it's like a fractal. It's literally a fractal from higher time frames. Look at this. See this? See this formation move down, round out, drop down to an hourly time frame? It's exactly the same. So for, you know, on an H1 time frame, we're going to be looking for a very similar thing. We can see that this is the key zone. This is either going to be a deviation where we get a move into here and get a move up, or it's going to hit as resistance and we're going to have continuation to the downside. So that's it for me on AVAX. All right, so lastly, we'll take a look at ENA, and then we're going to wrap up this stream. Really, really great stream so far. Covered ENA, AVAX. We hit this really, really nice trade on BTC. You can see it's now having some degree of continuation to the upside. But for me, I'm good. It's Friday. We hit a 3-hour trade. I'm very happy about this. I have no need for, you know, I don't need to get cute and try to squeeze every little bit of profit on that, because after the stream is done, I can go about my day in peace. So we'll take a brief look at ENA, and then we're going to be calling it a day today. Oh, ENA, where are you hiding? There you are. I knew you were here somewhere. So I took a trade on ENA a while back, and that trade did not play out at all. It had bled lower and lower and lower, and oh my god, look at this. It got to move down into the zone that I was eyeing up. All right. Yeah, Austin, you'll have to share with me in the Discord what your analysis was. I would love to see how they compared. All right, so previous week low, or I'm sorry, previous month low, monthly open, previous month high. And we tapped this level here. See that? I had this level marked out here. It's a monthly area of support. We tapped that. That's really nice, actually. It's a really good... To me, this was like the final area of support that if, you know, if that didn't hold, ENA was going to be in some serious trouble. Depending on what side of the trade you're on, obviously. If you're short, then... Previous week low. Weekly open. Previous week high. So ENA is one of the few that we've seen so far that actually came down and totally filled its wick, and in fact had a very slight sweep of it. I have not seen that happen so far. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think that this looks better than what I've seen for other ones. Like, I like the fact that we came down, did an H1 SFP, had a beautiful reaction off the low, and now we're seeing continuation to the upside. Reclaim previous week low. And then, you know, we're back inside the weekly range, and we could start to look at taking out the previous week high. Again, I think that the previous week high zone is a lot more important than we probably could give it credit for by looking at it at a glance. If you go ahead and draw this line back over, you can see it's a part of a really key SR flip zone. In fact, if we just shoot this up a little bit higher, you can see it. So I'll go ahead and draw that out so you can see it more clearly and understand that this zone is, you know, going to kind of be your key SR flip zone right here. Let's see if I want to put it here up higher. That's fine. That's fine. So yeah, this is going to be your key SR flip zone right here that you're going to want to see ENA reclaim. But let's not get carried away and jump too far ahead of ourselves, because it has a lot of... It's got a lot of legwork to do still yet before, you know, we can have that discussion. And really the primary thing is that you're going to want to see this daily. We're going to want to see a daily, if not today's, close above the previous week low. If that can happen, then we can confirm. Then we can confirm that, you know, we're back inside the weekly range. We can reconfirm this as support, and then we can start to look for some kind of a move to the upside, essentially targeting, you know, the previous week high, right? Because once you gain acceptance back inside of a range, you typically expect a full rotation of the range to the upside. So that's what we would be looking at. For me, this is a higher time frame area of resistance that's super, super, super crucial. I do expect this area to be visited again on ENA, especially if we do get that closure here. And when this area is revisited, price is going to have to decide if it's going to gain acceptance above or if it's going to reject and get a move to the downside. And really, that's going to be your key. That's going to be your key zone that you're going to want to watch to sort of determine whether or not this asset's going to be worth holding long term. So that's what I'm seeing, you know, right now in accordance to a daily time frame. There is really no reason that price should go back down. In my opinion, this should be the bottom on ENA. We should gain acceptance back inside the previous week range and start to rotate that range. If price starts to get a move to the downside here, we fail to get a closure back inside previous week range, and price starts to move lower. I mean, we could come down and fill this daily fair value gap, but that's a hell of a lot lower, and I really don't. If we're to be bullish on this asset, there's really no reason after putting in a low like this and having this formation. I like this. I think that this looks good. This is a nice looking bottom. If this is bullish, there's no reason that people should have another opportunity to buy the low. So let's go down to lower time frames and we can just take a brief look at it, right? You know, to have an SFP of this level here, and then, you know, very quick continuation to the upside where it looks like we're going to reclaim the previous week range on an hourly time frame. In my opinion, you know, if this is bullish, there's no reason that price should come back into these lows here and give another people an opportunity to buy again. If you want a lower time frame setup, I think that you may be able to get an opportunity here if it's visited. Personally, I would really love to see ENA leave everyone behind and not come back down here and visit this area. But this could be a potential long zone with your stop below. And then, you know, taking it level by level. But if you just wanted to trade it straight up, you know, I would look to close it. I would look to close it potentially around the weekly open. This could be like a 2.5 hour setup. But again, I mean, I would really prefer if this was going to really show some bullish continuation to just reclaim this level and start hauling. So I hope that kind of gives you some insight or answers your question there. But again, you know, on a daily time frame, I think that this looks good. I don't see any reason to be revisiting these lows here if we are bullish. Reclaim the previous week range, rotate to the top. This is going to be your true test for ENA right here. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Great stream. You know, we spent a little bit more time on BTC than I normally would on an altcoin live stream, right? Or a request stream. But we caught a really nice 3-hour setup out of it. That's a massive trade. And it played out in like minutes. It was pretty sweet. We covered ADA, AVAX, and ENA today. We'll be back next week. Excuse me. We'll be doing the same thing next week. We'll be here on X. Go ahead and cover all this stuff. We can start reviewing some things too, looking back on like previous alts that we had looked at. You know, I would really have loved to have covered ONDO today. We're unfortunately out of time, but you know, it's just another one of those assets that I'd love to take a look at. I don't know where all my charts are. This is the long that I wanted to do for ONDO. I didn't actually get it. Yeah, ONDO is sort of, you know, in this upwards channel here, and previous all-time high is really the area of support or of SR flip, right? If we can get above this level, man, who knows? But I think right now ONDO, like you think about, let's just for a moment think about the assets that we took a look at today. ENA actually came down and revisited its lows from that wick. ENA, on the other hand, literally hasn't even had any more price action inside of the wick. I think AVAX was about 50%. ADA was just shy of that. ENA went all the way down. ONDO has not even gone back inside its wick at all. And I've said this to a couple people in the Discord, but I can't emphasize this enough. This dump, man, this day, this wick, this shit that happened gave you a tell on what the market is watching. It gave you a tell on what traders are interested in buying. You know, the ones that had the strongest reaction, those are the ones you want to pay attention to. If there is an alt season or if things start to go crazy again, the ones that had the highest bounce and the most amount of support and like buying power and demand into that, those are the ones that are gonna perform the best, not the ones that are super down and that you can look at and be like, oh, well, this one didn't bounce as much, so it'll play catch up. That's not how that works. It's not. The top performers, the ones that have been shown that people are interested in, are the ones that will outperform over time. And so ONDO, I can't stress this enough. Again, just think about the wick, where price has gone and what this asset's doing versus its peers. It's clearly, you know, has a lot of strength against other assets, a lot of the other alts. So these are the kind of things that you want to look through. Go through all of your alt lists, take a look at them, look at this day, look at this wick, look at the wick on all of your favorite alts, and ask yourself, how do they stand up against ONDO? Something like ONDO, I should say. Did price come back inside the wick? If so, how deep did it retrace into that? Or does it show that there's continued interest in buying? Right? These are the things you want to look for. This is an absolute tell. This was a blessing from the market to signal, to give you a sign which alts you should be paying attention to in the event that we have some kind of an alt season or continuation to the upside. So we'll go ahead and call it off there. Again, really beautiful trade on BTC. I know that we're seeing now some continuation to the upside. All good. I'm fine with that. We hit a 3R setup here on BTC. I'm fine with closing it out to go about my Friday and enjoy my weekend. So as always, guys, thank you for joining me. And we will be back on Monday for our usual live stream in the Discord. And that'll be that. We'll be back on X next Friday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, to do another altcoin request stream, maybe take some trades, whatever else. Otherwise, our weekly trading plan coming up on Monday, and that will be hosted back again on the website at onetradeglobal.com. So I hope to see you all there, and thank you again for joining me. Have yourselves a good weekend.